You know what I love about YouTube is that you can literally watch the most randomest stuff and yet still be inspired by things. And it's crazy because literally, like, the other day I was just watching a random Dude Perfect video, and I literally got so many ideas from just watching a single video of theirs. And low key, I'm thinking of adding some stuff of like what I found interesting on there to my podcast. So yeah, don't be afraid if you guys, hear something off, or if you guys notice something different. It's just me trying out things with these episodes. All right, but without further ado, let's roll the intro real quick and let's get this show on the road.
Imagine, if you will, sitting down to your morning coffee, turning on your home computer to read the day's newspaper. Well, it's not as far-fetched as it may seem. In fact, both local San Francisco papers are investing a lot of money to try and get a service just like that started. Science editor Steve Newman reports on one person already using the brand.
But yeah, I appreciate you guys. And for those of you that are new here, welcome to You Live, You Learn podcast. This is podcast that I made when I was 15 years old, and now I'm 16. So if you guys really want to know, more about why I started this podcast and, how it came to be, please tune in to the first episode. And, that will give you more information about who I am and things like that. So yeah, please check out that one. And yeah, without further ado, let's just get right into today's episode. Now, there's a couple topics that I want to cover, and the first walk we're gonna talk is kind of like the status of my knee now, because I finally got the call. I finally got the call of what was wrong with my knee. So basically, the status of my knee right now has been confirmed. It's a partially torn in my MCL. Now, what does that mean? It's pretty much kind of like the outer part, I think, of the knee, because that's where I mostly feel the pain. It's like the outer part of the knee. So like the left side of it. Like, since it's my left knee, it's like the left side, the outer part of my knee that I guess is injured, and I'm gonna have to do 2 to 3 weeks of therapy, and that's pretty much costing me the rest of my season. And it's dumb because literally, it's like I legit shot myself in my own foot, because I didn't even play one single season. Keep that in mind. I didn't even play one single season game. I literally injured myself in preseason, literally on the 4th game, and I can't play anymore. I played through this injury too, which is why I say I shot myself in my own foot, because I literally, and like it wasn't a one-time deal, okay, it happened, and then after like a week I think passed by, like I started to feel better, so I figured there was nothing to it, so I kind of played through it. And then one game, we were playing like against this high school, against Gun High School, and pretty much I played through it because I felt fine. I didn't feel any pain at the time. And then because their field was turf. The inner field, like the inside field, was turf, and the outfield was all real grass. So I was up to bat, and pretty much, the inner field was all turf, and I never played on turf. And as soon as I hit the ball, I go to slide, I think, for a bag, and that's where because I've never slid on turf. Keep that in mind. I never slid on turf. I never played on turf. I mean, I did, but not I just never slid on turf. So, and I have a bad history with I have a bad history with sliding. So, yeah, so I literally slid on turf trying to go for a bag, and that's where I like tore it even more. Like I think that's where I injured it even more. But yeah, and now it's cost me the rest of my season. So that's just great, that's just great. But yeah, I mean, there's really nothing I can do about that now. I'm just kind of mad because, just disappointed, man. Just disappointed because this is my sophomore year, right? This is barely, like, I'm about to go into junior year next year, and like it's dumb because, okay, so before I came into high school play baseball, I had missed 2 years of high level baseball. Like, I went straight from little league to, like, when I was in elementary, I played little league, all little league, and then after little league, you're supposed to play like something called travel ball, right? Or, you just kind of, it's pretty much what it sounds like. You just, travel places, like, and it's expensive. So that's why I couldn't really afford it. I didn't really play. Also, at the time, I just moved to San Jose, and, I didn't really knew a lot of places, a lot of leagues where I could go, to play baseball. So, yeah, and I missed 2 years of it. So my first 2 years of high school baseball, I took the time to kind of come back, to kind of get those 2 years back that I missed. And this year was pretty important to me because I went into the season, hyped up and ready to go because I felt confident on my swing, and I felt confident that, I was going to put up some, maybe not big numbers, but some decent numbers. And, to have this injury and just kind of, blow it all away, it just sucks, man. It really does. And, like, I don't even know what to say anymore. Like, bro, like, I was legit hyped up for this season. I was ready to go, and now I can't even play. And like I said, I didn't even play one single season game. Like, I didn't play a single season game. I didn't, it has been a full month and I think now 12 days maybe since I haven't done anything, since I haven't played, since I haven't practiced, because, I just can't. And, I don't know. And now I got to do 2 to 3 weeks of therapy, and it just sucks, man. It just sucks. But to be fair, this is my first injury that has cost me the rest of my season. I actually once fractured my wrist, and it cost me the rest of my season. That was like, I think, back in maybe 2018, I think so. I was playing Little League at the time, and it happened to me again while sliding. See, this is what I'm saying. I have a bad history with sliding, man. But yeah, I was pretty much sliding. I was coming home, but the way I slid was very, very incorrectly. I mean, not as bad as, the last time that cost my knee, but this time, it was really bad. But, like, to be fair, no one really taught me. Like, no one taught me how to slide. But what I did was, like, as I slid, I kept my arms down, which you are not supposed to do, as I've clearly learned today. And so pretty much, like, I had my hands down, and as I slid, obviously, like, I kept having my hands down, and when I came down, I think I, like, landed on top of my wrist, and I, pretty much fractured my wrist doing that. And oh my God, I remember the pain. It hurt so bad. I mean, it hurt, man. Fracturing your wrist is not fun. I mean, fracturing any bone in your body, or just injuring any bone in your body, is not fun at all. And literally, people would agree. But yeah, so But know this though, like this is not the end for me. Like obviously I'm not just gonna give up, because of this, injury. Obviously, what this means now is just that in the off season, I'm just gonna have to grind even more, and just kind of keep working at it, keep fighting, just keep pushing myself. Obviously not to the limits, because right now I gotta take it easy, but it's just now I gotta do even more work, to prove myself, because like I said, this season it was gonna be for me to prove that I'm good enough to be on varsity for next year, right? So this is gonna be my season to prove that I'm ready to be on varsity, that I know what I'm doing, that to prove to my coach that I'm ready for varsity, right? And to prove to myself that I'm ready for varsity. But guess that's not happening. But like I said, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up at all. And I know there's a lot of people like me who literally go through injuries or go through any type of drama in their life, and then they tend to give up. But nah, man, like my advice is never give up, dude. It's not right, man. You shouldn't give up on something that you enjoy so much, right? You shouldn't give up on the only thing that gives you happiness, right? It's like a lot of people in this world literally give up so easy, and it makes me mad, because it's like, bro, all that hard work that you put in, like all that hard work, all that training you did, all that talking you did, every little detail that you've done in your life, you're just gonna throw it all away. Like it doesn't make any sense, like what was the point of all of it then if you were just gonna throw it away? Like it just makes no sense. It makes no sense for me. So obviously I'm not gonna give up. And if you guys are going through whatever it is at home, just know that things will get better. If you want more advice, you should probably look back at my previous episodes. I think those episodes have a lot of advice that I think people could take in and apply to their lifestyle. It's just, and it's funny because when I give people advice, it's like a lot of people ask, like, how do you come up with advice? Like, how do you give people advice? It's just like, it's like my mom said, in order for you to be wise, you got to learn from others, first of all. Like, and I indeed learn from others. I learn from my siblings' mistakes, my friends' mistakes, my personal mistakes, my parents' mistakes. You pretty much grow and you learn. You grow and you learn. You live, you learn. Like my podcast, So, that's pretty much how I become, who I am. And it's always important to stay true to who you are. So that's what I try to do, and I think that's what a lot of people should do. But enough about that, because I really want to talk about the difficulty of preparing my episodes and things like that, because people don't know how hard it is to freaking plan for an episode. I mean, I'm literally recording this at 6:54 in the morning, man. 6:54 in the morning. I woke up at 6. I had to set up my entire studio because I did not have it set up. Literally last night, I stayed up until I think 12? I stayed up until 12, I think, to finish my notes. Do you guys have any idea how hard it is to freaking plan and know what you're gonna say on podcasts, man? Bro, there's only so much that you can talk about. There really is. There's only so much that you can talk about, and it's hard, man. If you're gonna do a podcast, you gotta really, be a really good speaker. You have to know what you're gonna talk about, man. And I literally spent I think 2 hours just typing down notes or writing down notes or whatever. And literally it took me 2 hours to finish. I did not go to sleep until 12:30 maybe, and I still woke up at 6 that's 5 hours of sleep, by the way. I still woke up at 6 just to get my stuff ready, get myself ready, because because I'm literally doing this on a school day. I'm doing this on a freaking Tuesday, man. I'm trying to post this out on a Wednesday. So like, you know, I you know, because podcasts take dedication, my guys. It takes dedication. It's not, you know, an easy, you know, do whenever you want. No, it's like you gotta be consistent. You gotta make, you know, yourself a schedule, you know, like. And if you guys heard my first episode, and that's literally my problem, being organized. I gotta start being more organized, man. But you know, it is what it is. Like, it's hard. It's really, really hard. And I think that was also a key point in my life where I almost gave up, because I almost gave up on this episode. I almost gave up on this entire podcast, because literally I realized that how hard it was to friggin' upload or to friggin' talk about things in an episode and make sure it's enough, you know, to fit into the entire episode. And like, I have to record for at least more than 30 minutes. You have to talk for more than 30 minutes straight. About what? Literally, my life is boring. I mean, there's not, you know, much I can do. There's only so much that I could talk about. I mean, that's why, you know, I stick to just giving people advice, man. But like at the same time, I just enjoy talking. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It's just like, is that just me? Like, am I the only one out there? Just like, you know, where like you enjoy talking, but you also enjoying advice. Like, but you don't, you know. I don't know. That's just kind of who I am. But yeah, that I think that was a key point where I almost gave up. But I told myself that I wasn't gonna do that. And, you know, I kept pushing, and, you know, now here we are at 6:58 in the morning. But anywho, that's not what the main topic that I want to talk about. I really want to talk about, I mean, for anybody that really cares. If not, you know, you could screw yourselves. But I really want to talk about baseball real quick. I mean, if you guys, you know, will let me. I know there's a lot of sports fans out there, you know, like myself. But, you know, with opening series underway, you know, I kind of really want to talk about the biggest games that have just occurred, you know, between April 7th and April 10th. It's currently, when I record this, it's April, I think, 13. So, you know, there was a big games that happened, you know, over the weekend. Like, you know, so for instance, Dodgers versus Rockies. You know, in the National West, we had Dodgers versus Rockies. Rockies actually go on to win the series 2-1, which surprised me because, you know, all this talk about the Dodgers, you know, being so good, you know, because they just signed Freddie Freeman. But I guess not, you know. And then we had other couple games like the Astros versus the Angels. Astros go on to win the series 3-1. And another game would be the Padres versus the D-backs. Padres win the series 3-1, obviously. Padres actually currently in first place with the Rockies in second and Giants falling behind third. And surprisingly, Dodgers in fourth. And I think the D-backs are in last place. But anyways, that's just a couple of games that, you know, occurred during that weekend. We had so much drama occur during the April 7th through the 10th opening series, guys. There was already drama in opening series. So for instance, we had, I mean, because this is mostly an honorable mention, but come on, I mean, you can't, for being a Giants fan, you got to give me some credit. All right. So we had Giants versus the Marlins in game 1. Giants strike first in the third, scoring 2 runs, making the game 2-0. Fast forward into the top of the 9th, Giants were winning 4-2, and up to bat comes Jacob Stallings and gets an RBI to make the game 4-3 in the top of the 9th. Then moments after, I think it's pronounced Kieslam Jr., I think, the ghost runner, hits a go-ahead homer to make the game 5-4. A 2-run homer to make the game 5-4 with Marlins on top. Then, just as hope is all gone, in bottom 9th, Thairo ties the game with no outs, making it 5 apiece. The Giants then do go on to win the game by a walk-off double by Austin Slater. And they also go on to win the series 2-1. I remember watching that game and I was like starting to give up on the Giants already, even though it was first game, because Thairo Estrada, not to like spit, any trash at him, like I said, I'm a Giants fan, why would I do that? But Thairo Estrada wasn't having a very well game that day on April 8th. He was making quite a few errors. I think he made some diving error or something like that, or he just couldn't get the ball right and cost us a run. So when he tied the game in the ninth with the homer, I was like, yes, Thairo Estrada. He literally redeemed himself. And you know what? That's what I love about baseball. The fact that you could, have such a bad day and literally come back and, redeem yourself and prove yourself that, that's not who you are, And oh my, I love that feeling. I have had that feeling before, and it's just amazing. But anywho, that actually wasn't the only game though with a single walk-off on April 8th. On April 8th, we also had the Tigers versus the White Sox, and I think this one had the most craziest ending. So pretty much, Eloy Jimenez from White Sox starts off the game with an RBI single in top of the first. Then AJ Pollock comes in to make the game 2-0 with another RBI single in the top of the second. Fast forward bottom 6, Detroit gets a run on the board by Jeimer I can't pronounce these names, man. Jeimer Candelarios, I think that's how you pronounce it, with his RBI single, making the game 3-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Fast forward again to bottom 8th, and Miguel Cabrera ties the game with a single, making the game at 3 apiece. So now the score is 3-3. Then in the top of the 9th, Andrew Vaughn hits a go-ahead run off of Gregor Soto, making the game 4-3 White Sox. And then here comes the Tigers. Tigers answered back with a tying home run by Eric Haas in bottom of the 9th. That's crazy, man. It was a close game. It was literally it was one after another. And then after that homer by Eric Haas, here's where it gets interesting. Javier Baez comes up to bat. The count is 0-1. And with the winning run at second base, he then hits the ball, and it seems like it's going far, but it was just shy of the wall and was caught by AJ Pollock. But Javier Baez was making the claim that it actually hit the wall, and then AJ Pollock caught the ball. It bounced off the wall and bounced into AJ Pollock's glove. So umpires go to review it, and the call is overturned, and Javier Baez is recorded with a walk-off single, ending the game with 5-4. If you guys didn't see that game, that game was intense. I was watching it, and it was damn, and it's funny because that was the first game Javier Baez played with the Detroit Tigers, if I'm not mistaken, and the first game he plays is a freaking walk-off. Come on. You can't get any better than that. You cannot get any better than that. But I'm telling you guys, the drama doesn't end there. You guys, I saved literally the best game for last, and I think it was the most hyped up game, and that was the New York Mets versus the Washington Nationals. Now, this is interesting because Max Scherzer made his first start at this game. It was his first start of the season, and he gave up only 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 home run, but left the game with 6 strikeouts against the Washington Nationals. And this is how it started. So this game was tied at 3 apiece, heading into the top of the 5th, as Mets take the lead off of an RBI single by Starling Marte, making the game 4-3. Then the most interesting part of this game was in top of the 5th, as the benches clear after Lindor was hit by a scary pitch, which was high and in, almost hitting his face, and literally everybody like, got out of their seats and decided like, oh yeah, like they were gonna talk smack to each other. I mean, these guys were heated up, but apparently it was because, since the fire was already set after the first game between the Mets and the Washington, because 3 different players were already hit. So after Lindor, literally the star player, got hit, it was like, hey, like now we know you're just doing this on purpose. But yeah, the Mets, like after Max Scherzer got pulled, the Mets do go on to win the game 7-3, and they go on to win the series 3-1. By the way, Lindor was okay. It looks like it hit him just in the helmet, which, thank God for those helmets, am I right? Like, that could have been scary. That literally almost hit his face. I think it hit his chin guard, if I'm not mistaken, like the bottom part of the helmet. And if that hit his face, whew, that baby face was not gonna be a baby face anymore. I mean, yeah, it was scary, man. Because if that hits him straight in the noggin, man, like that might have cost him the rest of the season, just like it did to Giancarlo Stanton. Which, by the way, if you guys did not see the Yankees game, Yankees versus the Red Sox, that was another dramatic. That also ended in a dramatic ending. It was a walk-off, I think, by Josh Donaldson. He hit a single right up the middle, and the winning run came all the way from second base to home, and the Yankees go on to win. I think I didn't write it down, so because I didn't think it was that important. But since I said Giancarlo Stanton, might as well see how they ended. But they ended the game with the score being, where's the first game? It ended 6-5 Yankees, which, by the way, kind of shocked me because the Yankees were losing by a lot. Yeah, they went into extra innings, 11-0, just like the Giants. The Giants also went into extra innings, but the Yankees versus Red Sox, they went into the extra inning, and the Yankees won it in 11. So, and last time I checked, they were losing too. I think. Oh no, they were winning. Sorry. In the fourth inning, I guess they were winning 1-0, and I kind of stopped watching from there. I'm not a Yankees fan. I mean, I do like the Yankees though. Don't get me wrong. Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge. I mean, they all have good players. Garrett Cole. I mean, I'm surprised. Literally every time when the Giants don't make it to the postseason, I go on to root for the Yankees. So, cut me some slack, all right? But yeah, I mean, there was just so much drama happening on April 8th for baseball community and players, man. Like it was intense. Like if you ask me, like I remember just sitting there watching the Giants game. I literally had my laptop on my what's it called? On my lap, and I pulled up MLB.com, and I just kind of while I watched the Giants game, I was like, might as well watch the rest of the other games, right? So I pulled it up, and literally all I see was just walk-off after walk-off after walk-off. And I was like, oh my gosh, man. Like, how many, teams did freaking get a walk-off today? But, that was an amazing start to baseball. After the whole lockdown thing, which, by the way, if you didn't hear, baseball, was on lockdown for a point of time. And I guess, it was just to like kind of talk about the MLB with the player association, and I don't know, I don't really know much about that because I didn't really understand it. Like that was like complex stuff for me. But yeah, baseball wasn't a thing for a point in time, and now that they've come back, it's like there's so many rules, there's like so many like, for instance, I think the bags are bigger, which is, to me, sounds kind of dumb because, like, I think it has to deal with something, with that Pirates player. I forgot his name. But that Pirates player that literally hit that home run and literally missed the base. Like, how are you going to miss the base? How are you going to miss the base and freaking, like, after you hit a homer? Like, that's literally baseball 101. what's his name, by the way? Oh yeah, Ke'Bryan Hayes, that's his name. Yeah, like how are you gonna hit a home run and then not hit the base? Like it was first base too. Keep that in mind. It was first base, the single first base, and you don't hit it. Like, bro, what? That makes no sense. But you know, who am I to judge? I'm over here freaking on the IL list. But if you guys don't know what IL stands for, it's injured list. But you know, it's just dumb. And then I think they also have a couple of other new things, like the umpires now have mics, which, by the way, I enjoy, but I just feel like straight up they copied the NFL. I mean, why the heck? I mean, okay, I get it, you know, so that way, you know, the umpires could address the crowd about what's going on, but like, you know, it's not, you don't really like need to do that, because I don't think there has been a single problem before. Has there? I mean, I don't know. I guess it's kind of cool. I won't hate it, but you know, I also just think like, you know, the idea was just stalling off. But you know, that's my opinion either way. But anywho, yeah, there was so much, you know, so much happening on April 8th, which, you know, kind of leads me into what I also want to talk about, you know, to start wrapping it up, because I've hit the 30-minute mark, which is cool. But you know, there was, like I said, there was so much drama happening on April 8th, and really, you know, it kind of reminds me of when I had my preseason movie, I like to call it. So basically what had happened was like there was literally a, I guess, trash talking between, you know, my team, and this is when I played last year in high school, my freshman year. But there was so much trash talking between my team and the other team, and apparently one of my friends, they had hit the ball, and he was going into second base, and he got tagged out. But as he was coming off the field, literally one of the players started chirping at him, saying stuff like you're not that guy or something like that, or like, I forgot what he said. I need to get him onto this podcast just to like kind of have his point of view. But from what I remember, apparently he was chirping things at him, and then literally he had his revenge on him by doing the same thing at him and literally saying the same thing. And oh my gosh, I remember it. There was literally so much trash talking that day, and it was like just like, I can't even explain the feeling. Like it was crazy. It was intense, really. But we did finish the game, you know, classy. Obviously, we didn't, you know, do anything dirty. We finished the game classy. We striked all of them. You know, we won the game, and you know, it was a good time, honestly, if you really ask me. But now apparently there's so much, you know, there's a rivalry between us now, I guess, that high school and my high school. So now I've actually also been in a walk-off before, and I think it was like a tie game in the bottom of the sixth. This was last year, so it was during COVID. It was bottom of the sixth, and I think we were losing by a run. So after we tied it, one of my teammates go up to bat, and we had a guy on third base, and he hits the ball, and it hits, I think, left center, and he literally just dropped like I thought the fielder was gonna catch the ball, and I guess it dropped right in front of him, and it literally, I was confused, because I thought that was the game, you know, because there was 2 outs at the time. So I guess it dropped, and the runner at third thought it was also being caught, because he literally took his time, but no, like in the end he actually started running. And you know, we went on to walk off the game, and it's a cool feeling, man. It's a cool feeling, because you know, you're all hyped up, and you know, you get because it's rare to have a walk-off hit, you know, like you don't get that every single game, so might as well, you know, get the most of it, you know. But yeah, and then there was like, I've been through it all, man. I mean, and I'm only 16. I've been through it all. Like, there was this other scene, like this other point in my baseball career where I was literally given the green light to hit a guy. Like, literally, my coach gave me the green light to hit a person. So basically what happened is, because there's like this rule where you're not allowed to steal while you're up more than 10 runs in, like, I think past the 5th inning. And that was pretty much the situation. My team was losing by a lot, and this was this year, by the way. My team was losing by a lot, and I was pitching at the time. I didn't give up the runs, by the way, but I only gave up like 2 runs. But I was pitching, and these kids kept stealing, even though they were winning by 10 runs. So they were pretty much disrespecting us. And my coach literally comes up to me between innings and is like, he's like, yo, like, you know what? Obviously you've seen these kids stealing on us, even though they're winning freaking by 10 runs. So, you know what? I'm gonna give you the option if I wouldn't be mad if you want to go and hit one of these kids, but your choice at the end of the day, like, you do what you do. And I didn't go, I didn't hit the kid. I ended the game classy. I literally struck out all of them. Or not all of them. After giving up 2 runs, I literally struck out the last guy. But the most like high point was literally in the middle of the inning. My coach almost pulls me out when I had 2 outs already. My coach comes over to give me that mound visit, and I only had 2 outs. And literally, just as he's about to pull me out, I literally tell him, "No, coach, like, keep me in. Like, I don't wanna go." And so and luckily my teammate, one of my teammates stood up for me and was like, "Yeah, coach, like, just leave him in. Let him get this one out. Like, give him this one better." And thank God that he left me in, because I literally was able to end the inning with a strikeout, and I was so pumped. Like, dude, I know what that drama felt like now. But at the same time, I kind of felt pressure. Because I literally told my coach, I was like, "Yeah, hey, like, keep me in. Like, okay, now I gotta do good, like, it's not easy." But now I know what to do when I handle pressure, because I know there's a lot of people who feel the need of pressure, and they don't really know what to do with this. So my advice when it comes to pressure, because I like to think of that pressure like not as pressure, but more like, okay, these people just want to see me do great things, obviously. So I'm just gonna, do what I do, have some fun out there, and just, keep doing, what I normally do. So, like, I don't really think of it as pressure. I really mostly think of it like as, a milestone, really. Like if I don't make it, the world's not gonna end, obviously. Like, if I don't do this, I don't do that, the world's not gonna end. So that's just, I don't know, that's just kind of my point of view at it. So, like, if you guys are ever going through pressure, or you guys feel the half pressure, like, don't think too much about it. Like, obviously, it's not, people don't say things to you to just put pressure on you. If they do, then they're crossing a line. But if mostly people say things just to, like, to kind of just remind you that they want to see you do great things. Like, if you don't make the team, like, it's fine. Like, the world's not gonna end. Like, if you are on the team, or if just, and you can't play, like, okay, like, don't feel like the need of pressure of playing, like, of getting good. Like, it's just, it's all about improvement. It's all about getting better, and it's all about, practicing. Like, that's the only way you could achieve greatness. Like, that's the way to achieve greatness. And I've achieved it before. Like, last year I was doing pretty bad at the beginning of the season, but then towards the end, like, I started to get really, really good. And then now at the beginning of this season, before I got injured, like, I was doing pretty good. So, don't think that if you don't do things right, that the world's gonna end. Like, it takes time. It takes time to achieve greatness. But, and keep in mind that greatness do come both big and small. Like, literally, the smallest goals that you accomplish literally could lead you to even more greatness. So, And like I said, to improve, you just gotta practice every single day. You know, takes dedication, like how I'm doing it now, and you know, just keep rolling, keep doing your thing. You know, and don't let people stop you. Don't let criticism get to you. You know, if you really want to know how to understand criticism, you know, tune into my last episode. But you know, that's just how I see it. If you don't see it the same way, then that sounds like a you problem. But that's just kind of my advice. But you know, I think that's all the time I had for today, guys. I had to start getting ready for school because, you know, I have to be there early. But or else they're gonna mark me out or absent, or else they're gonna mark me late, and I'm not trying to do that. But without further ado, I thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening. If you guys have any suggestions, any more topics that you guys want me to cover, please do tell. And I'll be sure to try to look at them, and I'll try to cover them for a little bit, and hopefully I get some more people on here. But yeah, without further ado, I thank you guys so much for tuning in, for listening. Please be sure to subscribe, or wherever you guys are listening to this, please sure to follow. And yeah, without further ado, I thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a beautiful, blessed day, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.